A very good morning to all of you. How are you all, students? I hope you all are in good health and taking good care of yourself by staying home and staying safe. I am Fatima Kulsawala from Atmiya Green School, Jadeshwar, and I would be teaching you English. So let's start our today's class with English grammar. As you all know that we have completed our course book syllabus for PT3, that is unit 6, 7 and 8. And we are also done with the worksheet 6, 7 and 8. So today we would be starting with chapter number 11 from your grammar textbook, that is Adventures with Grammar and Composition. The chapter name is Present Tense and Present Continuous Tense. So students, do you have any idea about what is tense? Well, tense of a verb tells you when a person did something or when something existed or happened. Tense describes the time of the action. In English, there are three main tenses, that is present tense, past tense and future tense. So today we would be studying the present tense, that is simple present. So let's move on towards our today's topic. Well, what do you mean by present tense? The present tense simply in English is used to describe an action that is regular, true or normal. That means the present tense indicate the action that is carried out on regular basis. It is carried out again and again, and it is a fact, and it is carried out on routine or a daily basis. For example, when you say the sun rises in the east. Now the sun rises daily. So here the word rises shows the present tense of the sentence. The word rises is a verb and it is in the present tense. Now let's see when do we use present simple tense. So now let's see when do we use present tense simple. For repeated or regular actions in the present time period. We use present tense when we are talking about the things that are repeated again and again or which are considered to be a regular action. For example, the sun rises in the east. Now this action takes place daily, that means every day, and so we are going to use the present tense. So the verb rises is used in the present form. Let's see the examples given over here. I take the train to the office. Over here, I daily take the train to the office and it's a repeated action, and so that's why I have used over here the verb in a present form. Let's see the second example. The train to Berlin leaves every hour. So here the train to Berlin leaves every hour. That means this action is repeated every hour, and that's why we are going to use the present tense. John sleeps 8 hours every night during the week. So John sleeps, that is again a present tense because he sleeps every night during the whole week, and so we are going to use present tense. Then we use present tense for facts. The president of the USA lives in the White House. So here it's a fact, it's a truth, it's a universal truth. So we don't have to argue about it, and over there we are going to use present tense. Dog has 4 legs. That is also a fact, and so we are going to use present tense. So when we are talking about something which is a fact, for example, the earth moves around the sun. So this is a universal truth and it is also a fact. So when we are talking about universal fact or truth, then we have to use present tense. We also use present tense when we are talking about our habits. For example, I get up early every day. Carol brushes her teeth twice a day. They travel to their country house every weekend. These are the activities which are carried out on a regular basis, and so it becomes our habit. And that's why when we are talking about our habits, we have to use present tense. The next thing is for the things that are always generally true. That means we are going to use the present tense when we are talking about the things which are always or generally true. For example, the Queen of England lives in Buckingham Palace. So this is a truth, and it is always true that the Queen of England lives in Buckingham Palace. So here the word lives is in the present form. Let's see the verb conjugation and spelling for the present tense. Verb conjugation, it means the changes in the base form of the verb according to the subject of the sentence. We form the present tense using the base form of the infinitive without to. In general, in third person we add s. That means that whenever we are making a sentence into a present tense, we use the verb in its base form or we add s. And we generally add s to the third person singular. Here you can see the example given. He, she or it speaks English at home. Over here the verb is speak, that is the base form, or you can say the present tense, present form of the verb. But when we are talking about third person singular, that is he, she or it, then we have to add s to the verb. It's only in the third person singular that we have to add s to the verb. In the rest of the pronouns or rest of the nouns, when we are talking about first person or second person or third person plural, then we are going to use the word speak and not speaks. The spelling for the verb in the third person differs depending on the ending of that verb. For example, if the verbs end in o or ch, sh, ss, x or z, we add es in the third person. So when we are writing these kind of words which ends in o or ch, sh, ss, x, z, then we are going to add es along with it. For example, go becomes goes, catch becomes catches, wash becomes washes, kiss becomes kisses, fix becomes fixes, and buzz becomes buzzes. So here whenever we use these kind of verbs along with the third person singular, then we have to add es. For the verbs that end in a consonant, we remove y and add ies. Here you can see the word marry becomes marries. That means we remove y and we add ies. Study becomes studies. Carry becomes carries. Worry becomes worries. And the verbs that ends in a vowel plus y. For example, play. Over here you can see that before the consonant y, that is a vowel, that is a, and so we are going to just add s. Enjoy becomes enjoys and say becomes says. So students, now let's learn how to make a positive, negative and a question in the present tense. Let's see the positive sentence. How to make a positive sentence first. This one. Over here, when we are making a sentence which is singular, for that when we are talking about the first person, we write I work. When we are talking about second person, we write you work. You can see the verb work doesn't end with s because we are talking about first person and second person. But when we are talking about third person singular, at that time we have to write he, she or it works. So students, here you can see that we have used the verb base form, that is work, for first and second person singular. But for third person singular, we have added s to the verb. Now let's see the plural form while we are writing a positive sentence. We work, you work, and third person plural. Over there we don't add s, and so it would be they work. Now let's see the negative sentence. For the negative sentence, singular form, we write I do not or don't. We have to add do not when we are making a negative sentence. For singular first person, we are going to write I don't work. For singular second person, we write you don't work. And when we are writing it for the third person, we write he, she, or it does not work. See the difference over here also. When the word end, the verb do ends in o. And so we have added es along with it when we are using it for the third person singular. So student, always remember that we use s or es or ies only to the verb when it is used along with the third person singular. Now you can see the plural form negative sentence. When we are using it with the first person plural, that is we write we don't work. When we are using it with second person plural, we write we don't work. And in the same way, when we are talking about third person plural, for that also we are going to write they don't work. So students, we use does or doesn't only with third person singular. For the rest of the forms, we are going to use do or don't. Now let's see the question. How are we going to form question? So let's see the first one, that is singular first person. Do I work? Over here we have moved the subject behind and we brought the verb first, that is do I work. Over here you can see that do is helping verb because work is an action word. So we have added do first, then we wrote a subject and then the action verb. The second person singular, for that we are going to make a question, do you work? And when we are talking about third person singular, does he, she, or it work? So students, here you can see that we have again used does along with the third person singular. Now when we make plural question for first person, we are going to write do we work. When we are writing it for the second person, we are going to write do you work. And for the third person plural, we are going to write do they work. So students, I hope you are clear with the usage of the verbs and how does it go along in the present tense with the first person, second person and third person singular and plural. So students, remember that we add s to the verb in third person singular, s or es or ies. According to the verb pattern, we are going to make the change, that is conjugation, in the word while we are using it in the present tense. So students, I would request you to open your textbook page number 56 so that we can start exercise A. Use the verbs in the box in the present simple to complete the sentences. So there are some words given in the box which we would be using in the given blanks. Every year, the Japanese dash the Naki Sumo festival in April. So here we would be writing the word celebrate. The first word we would be using over here is celebrate. So students, write down the answer celebrate in the first blank. Second one, many people dash at the Sensoji temple in Tokyo to celebrate this baby crying contest. So students, over here we will be writing meet. Many people meet at the Sensoji temple in the Tokyo to celebrate this baby crying contest. So students, here in the both the blanks you might have noticed that we are using the same form of verb as the base form because Japanese is third person plural and people is also third person plural. Now let's see the next blank. Japanese historians dash this festival has a history of 400 years. So Japanese historians believe. So here the third blank would be believe. So the answer in the third blank would be believe. Japanese historians believe that this festival has a history of 400 years. Now the next line. During the festival, two sumo wrestlers dash and dash to scare the participating babies. So in the fourth line, the two verbs which we would be using are growl and scowl. So during the festival, two sumo wrestlers growl and scowl to scare the participating babies. Next line. The frightened babies dash for a long time. So students, here we would be writing the verb cry. The frightened babies cry for a long time. Next line. The Japanese dash that it is good for babies' health to have one long crying session. So here in this blank we would be writing believe. The Japanese believe that it is good for the baby's health to have one long crying session. Next one. Also it dash good luck to the babies and their families. So it brings good luck. It brings good luck. Now students, here you need to notice one thing, that the base form of the verb is bring. But we need to make a change because here we are going to use this verb along with third person singular. It is also it. It represents third person singular. So along with that we are going to add s to the verb. That is, also it brings good luck to the babies and their families. And the last line. The loudest baby dash the contest. So the last fill up would be, the answer would be wins. Here again you can see that the loudest baby. Baby is third person singular And so along with the third person singular, we are going to add S to the verb. And so we would be writing, the loudest baby wins the contest. So students, I hope that you are clear with this exercise. So students, these are the answers of this exercise A. So please write it down in your textbook. Now let's move on towards the next exercise. Exercise B. Complete sentences using present simple to talk about a few regular actions that you do. So here students, you have to carry out this exercise by yourself, although I would be giving you the sample answers right now, but if you want, you can write the answers by yourself. Let's see the first one, every morning. So for the sample answer, I have written, every morning I brush my teeth. You can write, every morning I wake up at 7, or you can write, every morning I go to school. Second one, I always dash. You can write whatever activity you carry on the daily basis. Here I have written, I always carry an umbrella during the rainy season. Third one, on holidays, my friend and I dash. Normally you students might be playing, so you can write that just like I have written over here. On holidays, my friends and I play cricket in the afternoon. Fourth one, every year my family. What does your family do every year? You can write whatever you want to. You can write, every year my family goes out for a picnic, or every year my family meets during Christmas. Now let's see the fifth one. After school ends, what do you do after school ends on the regular basis? Well, after school ends, we take the school bus back to home. So students, in this exercise, you can write the answers by yourself. These are just sample answers. So please do complete exercise A and exercise B in your textbook. We will continue with the next topic in the next video. Thank you.